We do. As we get older, we need to bulk. We need to put on what we're losing over time. But people don't talk about that. It's all about like losing the weight and getting smaller. And I'm like, girl, my goal when I'm lifting, I want my legs as big as I can. Because honestly, that's what's going to get me out of bed when I'm 80.
What if aging didn't mean slowing down, but becoming more powerful, more radiant, and definitely more you? What if every year was an invitation to strengthen not only your body, but your energy, your vitality, and your sense of purpose? Welcome to Energy Medicine. My name is Dr. Mary, and I'm your host. As a seasoned chiropractor, medical intuitive, and energy medicine practitioner with over 35 years of experience, I've helped women reconnect with their bodies, reclaim their strength, and restore balance on every level: physical, emotional, and energetic. This podcast is where spirit meets science, where functional medicine meets energetic healing, and where we explore how to live in harmony with our body's innate and natural intelligence. Today's episode is called Age Gracefully with Strength: Why Women Over 40 Need Muscle. I'm joined by Melissa Vogel, a dynamic fitness coach, and she's also a host of Bomb Life podcast. With over 2 decades of experience, Melissa empowers women to build not just muscle, but the mental resilience, confidence, and energy alignment that is necessary for lasting transformation. So let's take a collective deep breath in. Open your heart and get ready to awaken your strength from the inside out, because aging with grace starts with energy, movement, and mindful power.
What we do now is, yes, for the now, and it's great to look good and feel good and do all that stuff. But you have to constantly be thinking about 5 years from now. What you're doing now is for 5 years from now. 10 years from now. What do you want that future to look like? But that's not sexy. No one wants to market that or really talk about that. Prepare for your future, get mass on, bulk up. No, it's all about be cute and be little and get smaller. And it's doing us a massive disservice. But that muscle and how we train now is so important. One, you want to be filling out your skin. Let's be real. I always use with my clients this analogy of a water balloon. Imagine you have a water balloon and you're hanging on it by the end and it's filled with water, right? And it's full in there and you got to get some of that water out. So the water could represent fat and we need to poke a hole in it and we need to drain the water out. What is that balloon going to look like if you just take the water out? Think about it, because that's a human body. And if we're trying to lose weight, whether that's through a pill, a shake, exercise, just a ton of cardio, and we poke a hole in our body and we drain all that fat out, and then we're left hanging there and we don't replace it with muscle, that is not what we're after. But people don't think that. We're so worried about now, I just got to get this weight off. We're not thinking about the muscle. But imagine taking that water balloon and what if we filled it with sand and refilled it and got it firm and tight again, and it had some, weight to it, and we could actually do something with it instead of this empty shriveled water balloon hanging there. That's how we have to think about muscle. That's how we have to think about weight training, not just taking fat off our body, not just getting older, but what's going to go in place of that. And that's a discussion they're not having.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I loved your analogy with the balloon because you're holding up the shriveled balloon, right? The saggy skin, the saggy tissue, and we can all relate to what that looks and feels like.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to back up and provide a little bit of scientific foundation for the listeners, and that is, ladies, I'm here to tell you, it would defy all natural physiological laws for you not to lose a certain percentage of muscle mass per year as you age. So that's happening, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. And unfortunately, it's hard enough to maintain muscle mass as we age, but yet to build muscle mass, that's a whole nother step. That's a whole nother level that we're going to talk about. Now, Melissa said it, the strength that you accumulate today is what is going to allow you to have flexibility, mobility, strength as you age, just to do the normal activities that bring you enjoyment. So why do we want to build muscle mass? What happens to our physical body? What happens to our bones? What happens to our cardiovascular system? What happens to our heart health, our respiration? What happens, Melissa? Why are we doing this? If it's not for vanity, why else?
Right. Well, you said bone, and I'm really glad that you brought that up, because women are 5 times more likely to break a bone, break a hip than men. And that's because of our hormones. That's because of physically how frail we get. When estrogen drops, we're not making the same amount of progesterone, testosterone. People don't even want to have that conversation sometimes. And I want you to think if you were shipping like stemware, say you were shipping a wine glass, and you have to wrap it in foam, okay, and get it from point A to point B without breaking. Your muscle is that foam protector. If you took one of those foam noodles that kids play with in the pools, you're wrapping your bones around just like that stemware with the foam. Again, as you're aging and you're decreasing, if you're not replacing what you're losing, your stemware will break. At some point, it's going to happen. God forbid we fall, trip over the cat, a kid running around or something, and then we cause an injury to happen anymore. But if you have that muscle and you go to, and you fall and you catch yourself, that muscle makes you react faster. And not only does it protect your bones, but it prevents the fall from happening either way. So that's one visual that I want you to think about is it's glass. Our bones are glass, and the muscle surrounds it and protects it and builds it. But when we don't work on building that muscle to help, strengthen our body, it does take a hit on our heart and our lungs, because we're not doing anything to keep them strong as well. So the weaker our body gets, the more that muscle decreases, the less the heart's protected, the less it's being forced to work. Because every time you curl, if you're doing a bicep curl, that's spiking your heart rate. That's getting the proper fluids flowing through your muscles. It's helping you produce the hormones. People forget that too. A lot of people are super focused on cardio. Oh, but I walk every day, Melissa. I'll get that one a lot. I love it. And feet to pavement and that pounding is really important. That helps with bone mass too. Love it. But I know a lot of people who are they do their Zumba class or they do water aerobics. Again, that's great. It's getting the heart pumping, but it's not putting and building that muscle mass on. And sometimes for women, if we do more cardio, if we're more cardio focused, that is spiking our cortisol levels. I grew up doing martial arts. I loved it. And I did jujitsu just 2 years ago, and I had to stop. It was great cardiovascular, and I was getting some good strength, training in there and everything. And I didn't realize that how much I did that intensive a workout, it was spiking my cortisol. Every single class, 2 or 3 times a week. And sometimes when we do that as well, and I'll see women out there and they're going to town and they're we did 10 miles today. Well, I put a weighted vest on. I had dumbbells in my hand and they're going. It's great. However, what's it doing to your hormones? That's my question. Are we monitoring and watching and making sure that's not spiking your cortisol levels too much? But then also, what's happening to the muscle that you currently have? Sometimes too much cardio can speed the process of losing muscle. And one way to think about it too, have you ever seen cyclists, people that are really big into spinning, at the gym, or they just do a lot of cycling? But if they stand up and you look at their butt, it's flat. And two reasons that could be is because one, when you're cycling, you're not really using your glutes the same way you're using the top of your muscle, the top of your leg, your quad. But then also it's so much cardio, it can prevent muscle from coming on. Because if we're just doing a lot of burning and we're not trying to build that muscle back up, our body's smart. It's going to burn through fat, sure, but then it's going to go, I want the good stuff to keep running and to keep going. It's going to take from muscle. Your body knows the difference between McDonald's and a filet mignon. And it will go to your body and it goes, I mean, I could use fat for fuel, but that's McDonald's. I want the filet. And the filet is your muscle. And it will take the muscle and use that for fuel instead of McDonald's. It's very, very smart. So we need to keep that going constantly. A lot of people are like, how long? How long do I have to do this for? Forever. Until the day we die. Forever.
So true. There are 3 points that I want to circle back to, Melissa. I love the fact that you're educating us about our hormones. You talked about cortisol, and listeners, this is not the first conversation that we've had about cortisol, but essentially that's a hormone that's produced by the adrenal system, along with epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, DHEA, just to name a few. And so those DHEA specifically is a precursor for all of the other hormones. So if you think that just doing cardio, that, as Melissa indicated, and she's right, hormonally, that is not as beneficial as what we once thought that it was. And then Melissa started in the conversation about protein consumption. Okay, so we're going to have a bigger conversation about this because what we feel now, everybody listening, I am a healthy eater. I love food. You will never ever see me skip a meal. I will always be the first one to fill up my plate, and I will clean my plate and be a member of the Clean Plate Club every single time.
Your body knows the difference between McDonald's and a filet mignon. And it will go to your body and it goes, I mean, I could use fat for fuel, but that's McDonald's. I want the filet. And the filet is your muscle. And it will take the muscle and use that for fuel instead of McDonald's. It's very, very smart. So we need to keep that going constantly. A lot of people are like, how long? How long do I have to do this for? Forever. Until the day we die. Forever.
So true. There are 3 points that I want to circle back to, Melissa. I love the fact that you're educating us about our hormones. You talked about cortisol, and listeners, this is not the first conversation that we've had about cortisol, but essentially that's a hormone that's produced by the adrenal system, along with epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, DHEA, just to name a few. And so those DHEA specifically is a precursor for all of the other hormones. So if you think that just doing cardio, that, as Melissa indicated, and she's right, hormonally, that is not as beneficial as what we once thought that it was. And then Melissa started in the conversation about protein consumption. Okay, so we're going to have a bigger conversation about this because what we feel now, everybody listening, I am a healthy eater. I love food. You will never ever see me skip a meal. I will always be the first one to fill up my plate, and I will clean my plate and be a member of the Clean Plate Club every single time.
Your body knows the difference between McDonald's and a filet mignon. And it will go to your body and it goes, I mean, I could use fat for fuel, but that's McDonald's. I want the filet. And the filet is your muscle. And it will take the muscle and use that for fuel instead of McDonald's. It's very, very smart. So we need to keep that going constantly. A lot of people are like, how long? How long do I have to do this for? Forever. Until the day we die. Forever.
So true. There are 3 points that I want to circle back to, Melissa. I love the fact that you're educating us about our hormones. You talked about cortisol, and listeners, this is not the first conversation that we've had about cortisol, but essentially that's a hormone that's produced by the adrenal system, along with epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, DHEA, just to name a few. And so those DHEA specifically is a precursor for all of the other hormones. So if you think that just doing cardio, that, as Melissa indicated, and she's right, hormonally, that is not as beneficial as what we once thought that it was. And then Melissa started in the conversation about protein consumption. Okay, so we're going to have a bigger conversation about this because what we feel now, everybody listening, I am a healthy eater. I love food. You will never ever see me skip a meal. I will always be the first one to fill up my plate, and I will clean my plate and be a member of the Clean Plate Club every single time.
Your body knows the difference between McDonald's and a filet mignon. And it will go to your body and it goes, I mean, I could use fat for fuel, but that's McDonald's. I want the filet. And the filet is your muscle. And it will take the muscle and use that for fuel instead of McDonald's. It's very, very smart. So we need to keep that going constantly. A lot of people are like, how long? How long do I have to do this for? Forever. Until the day we die. Forever.
So true. There are 3 points that I want to circle back to, Melissa. I love the fact that you're educating us about our hormones. You talked about cortisol, and listeners, this is not the first conversation that we've had about cortisol, but essentially that's a hormone that's produced by the adrenal system, along with epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, DHEA, just to name a few. And so those DHEA specifically is a precursor for all of the other hormones. So if you think that just doing cardio, that, as Melissa indicated, and she's right, hormonally, that is not as beneficial as what we once thought that it was. And then Melissa started in the conversation about protein consumption. Okay, so we're going to have a bigger conversation about this because what we feel now, everybody listening, I am a healthy eater. I love food. You will never ever see me skip a meal. I will always be the first one to fill up my plate, and I will clean my plate and be a member of the Clean Plate Club every single time.
Your body knows the difference between McDonald's and a filet mignon. And it will go to your body and it goes, I mean, I could use fat for fuel, but that's McDonald's. I want the filet. And the filet is your muscle. And it will take the muscle and use that for fuel instead of McDonald's. It's very, very smart. So we need to keep that going constantly. A lot of people are like, how long? How long do I have to do this for? Forever. Until the day we die. Forever.
So true. There are 3 points that I want to circle back to, Melissa. I love the fact that you're educating us about our hormones. You talked about cortisol, and listeners, this is not the first conversation that we've had about cortisol, but essentially that's a hormone that's produced by the adrenal system, along with epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, DHEA, just to name a few. And so those DHEA specifically is a precursor for all of the other hormones. So if you think that just doing cardio, that, as Melissa indicated, and she's right, hormonally, that is not as beneficial as what we once thought that it was. And then now I also, just because of my own personality, I track how many grams of protein a day I get. As we age, historically, we begin to eat less and less and less and less. And the mindset has been that the protein consumption were for the younger folks, meaning that it was for the younger teenage boys. They have an active lifestyle. They need to eat the protein. There's so much research out there saying that's just the opposite. The people that are aging are the people that need more protein. Okay. And so that means that you get to consume protein. And trust me, my goal is to get about 120 grams of protein a day. And let me tell you, listeners, that's a lot of food. That means that every single meal, I am getting a big, healthy portion of protein. Breakfast included, lunch included, dinner, and my snacks are protein driven. So the reason being, and I know, Melissa, I want to hear from you as well, is that, I used to get up in the morning, have my coffee, go to the workout, then do my things, and then come home and then, maybe I'll have some breakfast. Yeah. But if your body doesn't have accessible protein in your blood system while you are working out, Melissa alluded to it, your body's smart. It's going to go look for the resources that you do have. And if it's not in your blood system because of food, it's going to rob it from the skeletal muscle tissue, preventing you from gaining muscle mass. So, Melissa, tell us in your own words why protein is so important.
Oh, it's the building block for everything. And every time I'm looking at someone's plate, I'm always saying, where's the protein? Where's the protein? I went back and visited my parents over the summer and I'm like, Dad, spaghetti is great. Where's the protein in this meal?
Let's put a meatball or two on there.
Yeah, like, can we get something on there? Oh, well, I just usually have like toast, or we'll put some avocado on it. Great, that's a fat and a carb. Like, where's the protein? But it really is the building block for everything. And I know that this conversation is hard for people because, one, if you start eating too much protein too fast, there can be some GI upset, and that's why it's really important to learn, like, how much am I eating right now? And I love that you said that you track and you know how much you eat. We don't have to get crazy about our macros. And I think that scares people too, is that like, oh, do I have to track every little thing? How about we start small and just track protein and calories? Get an idea of overall how much are we putting in the tank and what type of gas? Like, just pay attention to something small like that. But when you start just looking at your everyday, that is huge to know how much do I need to add? Because what if you're only on average right now, say you're only eating about 50 grams a day. And then you're like, oh, I heard Mary and Melissa talk and they talked about like 120, 100. So I'm going to start doing that. And you start doing that the next day. Girl, you are in for some hurt. And little did you know that you were only having 50. So pay attention to what you're eating now. But that protein is not only going to help you build muscle, all right, it's going to help repair it too. So what happens, like, when you are weight training, if you took like all the fibers, think of like a rope. And if you cut the rope and it's all frayed, right? Every time you lift, you are taking your muscles and you're ripping it. So now it's a frayed rope. And that sounds terrible, like what? But that's a good thing. We want to rip the muscle, right? Every time I do a bicep curl, I'm ripping that bicep. And when they are ripped, then you're sore, right? And you have lactic acid buildup and your body's trying to repair it. When you eat protein, and the rule is about within an hour after doing the rip, they need to repair. When you eat that protein within that window, it helps the frayed parts come back together again. It speeds that process up. So one, you're not going to be as sore as long. So that's good. And then two, if you do this faster, you're going to hit your goals faster. Overall, big picture, you're going to lose more body fat, put on more muscle in a shorter amount of time. So something that, and I'm just giving numbers as an example, instead of it taking you 6 months, it might happen in 4 or 5 months now because you fueled and you ripped and repaired properly. So that protein is one of the only things that's going to help and speed up this process. I tell my clients, if you can't eat right after your workout, man, at least get a protein shake. Just get that in, because a lot of people go to the gym and then they go to the store. And while they're out already at the gym, they go and do other things. Have something in your car. Have that protein bar, have that shake ready to go. Know where you're going to go and grab lunch. But don't just leave it open. Bring those muscles together. But it's cool too, because once you rip and you bring it together, they never go back to the complete connection that they were before. So that rope never comes back and all the pieces find each other. They come together, but now they're separate just a little bit because that muscle grew. And then when you take protein, you wrap it in love and help it expand even more. But not to mention, it helps with your skin, your nails, your hair, everything. And it's the building block, and it's going to keep your glucose level stable. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. And, when our glucose is spiked and down and spiked and down, we could get all scientific about it. But big picture is that's how we put on weight. We're constantly spiking and dropping and coming up and down. Protein helps neutralize that. So if you have less spikes, you have a better attitude. You have less mood swings. You feel happier and you're not craving. And when we crave, then we go and grab the wrong things. So there's so much to it, but it's beautiful when you can see the big picture and really understand, why do I need the protein? What is it doing for me? Why do I need it right after I work out?
Melissa, there's so much wisdom in what you just shared. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to say. Obviously, life has taught you. You've been through this and witnessed other people going through it. Listeners, Melissa is spot on when she says, hey, just because you hear Melissa and Mary talking about doing over 100 grams of protein, we're doing it based upon our lifestyle, our body weight, our muscle mass composition, and our desired outcomes. Okay, so when I say over 100 grams, that is not, across the board. That's just something that I personally do. And Melissa is correct in that you do want to work up to that gradually because it is super hard on your intestinal and your stomach issues as well. So practical advice, ladies. Okay, so Melissa's talking about that. She's saying, okay, look, ladies, plan. Okay, plan to have that protein. You're going to have to put it in your car because you're going to get caught up in whatever your to-do list brings for you that day. Take care of yourself first and sustain your energy so that it is stable. Okay, what I have trained myself and my husband to do is that we work out at 5:30 in the morning. So I always have the shaved turkey. And it's organic, it doesn't have any hormones or anything like that. So I take a couple pieces of turkey before I go work out, right? Even though it's 5:15 in the morning, I eat some turkey. And then I put a product manufactured from Metagenics, which is called BCAA. And all that is these chemicals, the building blocks that Melissa keeps talking about. It's a protein that I put into my water, and it gives me 4 grams of protein while I'm working out. And it provides me isoleucine, leucine, and valine, which are the components of the building blocks for protein. And the reason that I do that, one, for the protein consumption, number 2 is because it minimizes the soreness. I don't really like being physically sore. It happened, but if I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. And that's how I avoid it. But the whole when Melissa's talking about, those frayed muscle fibers, we want to have the necessary amino acids to bring nutrients into the body so that you do recover a little faster. So now, I want to talk to you, Melissa, about, I know most, okay, how do I want to say this? I have been to various different gyms in my entire life. I've always exercised. I don't know what it's like not to exercise. But I have seen when I'm at the big gyms, the box gyms, that most of the women gravitate towards the circuit training, right? And then you see all the men gravitate towards the free weights. And I know, ladies, it's intimidating. You've got these big muscle dudes that are over there, bench pressing. God knows how much they're bench pressing. And then you getting to you and you're like, excuse me, it's my turn. But there is a difference in circuit training versus free weight training. And I'm not talking about the 7.5 pound, little dumbbells. I'm not talking about the 15 pounders. I'm talking about your 30 pounds, 32, 35, 40 pound. What is it that you're lifting and why are you lifting it in the way that you are? So Melissa, tell us how we start down that path and gain our confidence when we're in a gym-like environment.
Yeah, it is tough. And you're so right. It happened. Like, I'll go to the gym in an hour from now. And if I went in and just took a picture, you will see all the women in one area and all the men in another. And, some are sprinkled in there. I'm one of them, but it's very intimidating. And I just want to say this first before we get into like little tricks and how to change it. This is a mindset. And I want everyone to know that you are in control of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions when you walk into that gym. And before you even take that first step in, you have to remind yourself, this is about me. This isn't about other people. When you think people are looking at you, girl, I guarantee you they're not. They are too wrapped up in their own headphones and their own journey. You think they care more than they do. And people are like, well, I don't want to look at the machine and because there's always a picture on it and it will show you. They'll show you how to use it. Just look at the picture. But they're like, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want people to I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm at a pretty new gym right now. I've only been here for a few months. I'm looking at that picture every single day at some of the machines and going, how do I do this? What seat is this? This is brand new. Never seen this one before. People don't care. And when you continuously can tell yourself, you are worth it, you are here for you, you are not here for them. I am strong, I am safe, I am secure, I am loved. That's my mantra always to myself. You will go in there with a whole different attitude versus, oh my God, I'm so nervous. What if I look stupid? What are people going to think of me? That already puts you in a fear state. And then you're already more susceptible to injury. You've just taken down your first wall of defense, which is your mind and your self-love and your confidence. Now you're more susceptible. So it starts with the mind. It starts with the self-love. Maybe if you're brand new to a gym and you're like, just going to a gym is a big deal for me, maybe you do start on the treadmill and the elliptical, and that's okay. Knowing you're going to graduate to the machines and you're going to graduate to the free weights. So if you're brand new to anything, don't think I have to go into the gym and I have to hit those weights. Start small, because if you do baby steps first, you are 10 times more likely to succeed and make your way over. But just know you have that promise to yourself in here and in your heart that I'm not doing this elliptical forever. I will graduate to there, and set a goal and a time for yourself. Now, when you are in the gym, Mary was so right about not the little weights. And this is hard for me to say because I was a group instructor for like over 20 years. Like I was the one being like, grab your weights, ladies. Let's go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Like that was me. And I loved it. My classes were packed. There's no progressive overload. And what that means is that over time, if you want, like we're talking about, that muscle has to grow, you have to put that muscle under time and tension. That's the two things that grow muscles is time, the amount of time you have the pressure on it, and tension. So I use a bicep curl because it's easy. So if I'm flexing that bicep and I'm bringing a dumbbell up, okay, if I'm only using a 5-pound weight, that's not very much tension and it's not a whole lot of time either. But if I grabbed a 15, which you work your way up to, that's a whole lot of tension and a whole lot of time right off the bat. And in order for that muscle to grow even more, you have to progressively add to that. So if you're doing your favorite class and you're always doing 5s and 7s, there's no progressive overload. So are you going to maintain? Yes. You're going to maintain beautifully if you get into a routine. But like we've been talking about the whole time, life is not about maintaining. Life is about growing. We have time and age and hormones against us, and the environment and the food we eat, like that's all against us. So we can't just be good at maintaining. So that's why it's important to do the classes, do those things if you love them, if they get you in a community and you love the music and I don't have to think, yes. But no, that can't be all you do. You must add on to that. And one of the first places to start is machines. You get to sit. You're kind of locked in. You have pictures there to show you. You can pull that pin and put it on the babiest weight ever to start with, and no one knows. No one's walking by looking at your stack and seeing how much you're curling. It's all enclosed in there. Get that confidence, and then, okay, I can do this. Pull that pin, go up one more weight. And sometimes most gyms are organized where if you look at it in a row, if you just did like 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a row, you're going to get a pretty good workout. They kind of have a tendency to put the same muscle group machines together. So you don't have to guess. You can just be like, I'm going to do this row today and I'm going to pick 3 machines and stick to it. And then once you graduate from that, now start moving over into the free weights. But again, you have to have that promise with yourself. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to stick here for 4 weeks. And then I'm going to go over here. And then I'm going to move over to here, and just always have that game plan in place. But the number one thing is that mindset. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you can, you will.
So very true. And I love how gentle you are in your communication style and motivating people to start small and to develop. I'm going to go one step further and say, listeners, if you are feeling unsafe, insecure, or if you are doing some rehabilitation due to an old injury, hire somebody.
Yes.
You are totally worth hiring somebody to make sure that you have the proper workout, that you're doing it safely, and that it is specifically designed for you. So I do that. I have, like I said, I've done various different gyms throughout my years, and I get lazy. I don't want to do the same routine every single day, but I definitely don't have the time in my day to create a new routine every time I go. So I pay to be in a small group, personal training environment, so that I know that somebody is watching me, somebody's looking at my form, looking at my alignment, calling me out when I'm lifting too heavy and cheating and recruiting and all those other things. And they also motivate me. So they work on that mindset as well. And ladies, I'm going to be the first one to start this conversation, and we'll hear what Melissa has to say. But there's something, and this is an emotional thing, and maybe some of you can resonate to this, and maybe some of you don't. But as we age, there's something that I'm experiencing that I feel like, possibly I get dismissed, I get overlooked, or even invisible in some environments. And so when I'm lifting weights, there's something that happens to me energetically that I'm like, yes, I'm solid, I'm here, I'm powerful, I'm strong. And that gives me the confidence that I don't get any other place. So I'm telling you, ladies, like I will lift, those 45 pounds and add to it on each side and do some squats. And I'm like, I'm getting to squat my body weight, like loving it. Like I'm almost too embarrassed to share with you that kind of enthusiasm, but I'm telling you, it is so solid.
Yeah, and you can't duplicate that any other way. Like I haven't been able to experience that. Like there's no greater way to make you feel unstoppable. Like the whole Katy Perry, like hear me roar. Like you just where else in life you get those moments, and you get to do it daily if you wanted to, weekly. And when you do that and you can feel that in control, oh my God, it bleeds into all other areas of your life. You stand up for yourself in all other areas. You take control, you have ownership, and you have the confidence to speak up to someone that was rude, or if you see something wrong going on, or someone who's trying to take advantage of you. And it's so weird how you can like connect lifting weights to that, other areas of your life, but it's true. It's so true. But people, again, coaches don't talk about this. Like trainers out there and influencers, they don't talk about these benefits and how much it bleeds into the rest of areas of your life. And that's a massive, massive part of it. And I tell you, when you can be the only female on a bench in front of the whole dumbbell rack and you're just working next to a bunch of dudes, man, does that just make you feel like a boss babe? And you learn like, I deserve to be here just as much as you. This is not a man zone. This is for everyone. And I deserve the right to be here. And yes, I'm that strong. And yes, I'm using that 50-pound dumbbell. No, you cannot take it from me.
Right, right. I love it. And I dragged Eric, my husband, I dragged him into this new personal training probably about a year ago. And so just probably about 6 months ago, we started to be in the same class, that 5:30
Oh, I
class.
love it.
And so he would look at me sideways like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, I am. And he is so supportive and so loving and so
Aw.
encouraging. Like when I feel like I can't do another one, he's like, you've got this. Push it even harder. You've got this. So and he's always, encouraging me to be more, like, not to hold back. So ladies, it is a priceless experience. There's
Yes.
so many benefits. We could go on and on and on and on. But Melissa, thank God you are showing up in your strengths, right? You are showing up to support women in so many different ways, one on one, and then also with your podcast and with some of these offerings that you put together. You don't have to be in Southern California to work with
No.
Melissa. All of her content and information will be in the show notes. So you'll be able to link directly to her and to reach out and to soak up her wisdom, whether it be mindset work, physical work, energy work. All of that is combined in the offering that she has available. So I just can't express enough gratitude to you, Melissa, for showing up in your strength and holding space for women like you do.
And thank you. And thank you for giving me a platform to share it and just touch everyone who's listening to this today, too. Thank you, Mary.
You're very welcome. Listeners, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you. You choose strategically how you want to spend your time throughout the day. And thank you for spending time with us. And just remember, no matter what your age is, no matter how you physically feel today, your body will bless you. It has infinite wisdom to support you in your strength, your renewal, and in joy. So until next time, listeners, please keep honoring your body and walking your path with well intention. Have a great day. If you're loving this conversation with Melissa and the powerful wisdom she's sharing about maintaining muscle mass as we age, I'd love your support in helping to get this message to reach as many people. At Energy Medicine, my goal is simple. It's to provide you with insightful, credentialed practitioners who combine science and spirit and lived experience to help you thrive at every stage of life. If this resonates with you, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Just hit the subscribe now. Or if you're watching until the end of the show, have your camera ready because we'll flash a QR code to make it even easier for you. Your support truly helps me to continue sharing this work in an empowering way. Thank you so much for being part of the Energy Medicine community.